Peace and love, everyone, and welcome back to another Sunday Hope and Healing session. I'm Royce Fletcher Thomason, and we're back. We missed you last week, but we're back this week and happy to offer support as it relates to your healing, your spiritual growth, development, and unfoldment. Earlier today, I spoke at Transforming Love Community on the topic of there's levels to this. There's levels to this. Whatever you are in life, whatever level of spiritual growth you're at, whatever level you're at in any area of life, that's just one level. And there are more than one level. There's more than one level that's above wherever it is that you are right now. And what we spoke on earlier today and what our focus will be today on is releasing blocks to your next level. We're going to be focusing on the healing, utilizing Transcending the Matrix to bring that about. Transcending the Matrix, for those who don't know, is a really powerful healing modality. And it addresses the root cause of issues, and it can be used for any and every area of a person's life. So we welcome you to partake in it. Hello to you, all who are here today. And I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking before we get into the healing. But if you feel like you would like to go to the next level in any particular area of your life, whether it's your spiritual journey or any area in life, you're in the right place to be today. And so we're going to actually be doing some healing to release the blockages that might be standing between you and wherever your next level is, and whatever area of life is meaningful for you. Okay. And so I'm going to start with a prayer, and then we're just going to go ahead and get into the healing. God, I know you to be a healer, and through the union that we share, through the power of your pure love, I'm demonstrating you as a healer on the behalf of, state your name if you want to participate in this healing, for the purpose of neutralizing the root cause of whatever blockages or whatever baggage there might be that is holding us back from making our way to the next level. There are some things that just are too heavy to be able to go to the next place that you have to take us. I thank you for that these things are being eliminated and transmuted from the root cause and the entire energy field of every strand of DNA in every cell of each person's body who is choosing to tap into this healing and to receive it, and transmuted it into and replacing it with the joy and the fulfillment and the satisfaction that comes to making it to our next level in life. Whatever that next level of goodness, whatever that next level of freedom, whatever that next level of blessing, of prosperity, whatever it is that is divinely ordained for our lives, is in full manifestation, with us being able to feel the exquisite joy and fulfillment that comes with that until the time comes that we go yet even to the next level after that. And I bear witness to our wholeness on this date and then this time and space called now. Thank you. Thank you for this gift of your divine love. It is done. It is done. It is done. All right. Brittany, Curly Conscious King, it's good to have you in the space today, and everyone who's here. From my heart to yours, I'm sending a bunch of love in your direction. May it reach you where you need it to reach you. All right, so let's get into this healing. And hopefully you've thought about an area where you'd like to, up level, where you'd like to go to the next level. Is that Terry? Greetings, Terry, if that's you. Or I see Teresa Ann. Greetings to you. So let's get into the companionship of old baggage. The companionship of old baggage. Sometimes we have baggage that's become a companion. We've become used to it. It becomes familiar to us. It enters into the realm of our comfort zone, and So we may not want to let it go because that would feel outside of our comfort zone. But let's, perhaps find a way to release that baggage in a way that we feel to be non-threatening. Mm. Old baggage, particularly looking at emotional baggage right now. All right, clearing emotional baggage from times where things didn't work out the way that we would have wanted it to. And then we put barriers up as a result of that to protect ourselves. So let's address those barriers that we've erected in an attempt to protect ourselves that have actually just kept us locked in, kind of imprisoned in a way. So I want to strengthen us to be free and to be safe while being free. To be free and to feel safe while being free. Okay. All right. I'll look at old disappointments. I'm going to transmute those from the point of the causal root, transforming them through the power of God's pure love. Okay. Hopefully you're back. All right. And let's look at deep self-forgiveness. Strengthen us for deep self-forgiveness. For any way that we've blamed ourselves for things that didn't work out in the past, the way that we thought that we wanted them to. Okay. Addressing any shame or guilt. Transmuting that shame and guilt into acceptance. Heard a wonderful definition of forgiveness is by my brother Spencer Murray. It said forgiveness is releasing the hope that the past could have been different. Okay, that's certainly another level of forgiveness. So let's look at strengthening us to release the hope that the past could have been different. Okay. All right. And allowing for whatever good can come from this moment forward. Allowing space for a new level of good to come. Strengthen us for that. To be receptive to new levels of good coming. The baggage can result in us kind of repulsing that. Okay, kind of pushing it away, putting up blocks and barricades to it. But to be able to release the resistance, to our good. Now, again, there's a lot of negative emotion that we can have tied to that. And so, in connection with that negative emotion can be an attachment to the outcome. So we want to be non-attached to the outcome and to be able to create and have a neutral space where those things can flow in our lives, flow in us, to us, and through us, and flow for us. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's look at let's look at fears of the past projected into the future. We want to neutralize those fears of the past that we want to be projecting into the future. Allowing the past to be the past. Allowing it to be what it is and what it was, without needing to change the past and without needing to carry the past into the future. Allowing our selves to feel a sense of enthusiasm about the new, to feel a sense of at easement as it relates to the new unfolding, and joyful, neutral anticipation of this new level of good. Okay. All right. Now let's look at prescribed methods that other people are dictating for your life. You know, people will generally, who care about us, will generally want to support us in what they think is the direction that our lives need to go in. But for us to be able to have a clear sense of discernment from within about what the best step for us is at this current juncture. Maybe where we are now was the perfect thing at some previous time, but maybe now where we are now is requiring maybe something nuanced in our behavior, nuanced in our outlook, and maybe profoundly different in terms of our approach or in terms of the direction that we're moving in now. Okay. I want to strengthen us to be able to have a clear sense of hearing from within, receiving and accepting the divine guidance, and walking in the direction of that, moving in the direction of that. And being able to have a profound sense of trust that we're being guided, that we're being divinely guided in a way that is going to work out for our highest and best good, and the highest and best good of everyone involved. And acceptance of the possibility, acceptance of the possibility that it can exceed anything that we had even imagined before. Okay. All right. Now let's look at in physics, there's this law called inertia, which basically says that anything at rest will remain at rest until an external force is acted upon it. And similarly, the flip side of that is any object in motion will remain in motion until some force is acted upon it. Okay. All right. So let's look at strengthening us to be able to overcome inertia as it relates to lack of movement, as it relates to maybe being stagnated or being stuck. Okay. And to be able to receive, to be able to lovingly receive the push to move forward and take that next step, even if that step seems unfamiliar or feels unfamiliar. Okay. So now let's strengthen us to where the unfamiliar can also feel safe. What typically feels safe is what we're familiar with, even if it's something that we don't like or don't want or something that's not healthy for us. That fits into the realm of what we know, what we're familiar with, what we're familiar with, seems to bring its own emotional sense of safety, even if it's something that's actually very unsafe for us. Okay. So strengthen us to be able to move in a direction that is for our good, even though it's unfamiliar, and for the unfamiliar to be able to feel its own level of safeness in it. Okay. Just to be able to feel safe even in the midst of the unfamiliar. And to feel safe in the midst of what's familiar. We don't want to no longer feel safe in the context of what's familiar. Feel safe whether we're dealing with what feels familiar or what doesn't. But just feel the pulling from within to that next level and feel a sense of safety in moving to that next level. Okay. All right. And I want to look at fear from a standpoint of, in this context, not necessarily the fear of the unknown, it, in a way kind of related to the fear of the unknown, but um, fear of being different. Okay. Fear of going a route that's different than what most people feel comfortable with. Quite frankly, most people feel comfortable with the matrix enough to stay in it and to not try to get out of it, to be able to operate well within it. You remember in the movie The Matrix, there was a guy who was unplugged and he sold folk out to get back into the matrix, but in the matrix in a good life. Right? Of Course in Miracles says all of this life is, none of it's really real. It's all kind of a dream. We exist and suffer in a bad dream. And then as we learn to grow spiritually, we transform the bad dream into a good dream. And then we take it to another level when we wake up from the dream altogether. Or we're completely unplugged from the matrix. All right. So let's look at negative feedback loops that we get stuck in. Perpetual circle or loop that we can get in that isn't actually feeding us or nourishing us, but it just keeps us stuck. So let's shift that negative feedback loop into positive feedback loop where there's actually growth taking place. And then turn that that positive feedback loop into supporting us to be able to move into the next positive feedback loop so that we're not just stuck in a loop, that we're able to continue going forward, okay? Or we're able to continue going higher, right? Ascending higher and higher, you know, going up next level to next level, and to feel wholly ourselves in the process of whatever next levels we're going to. Okay. All right. So let's strengthen us to be able to really be honest with ourselves about where it is that we are and our reluctance to grow, our reluctance to try something new or try something different, and transmute that into an ability to stand naked before the mirror of truth and be unashamed, to fully embrace ourselves exactly as we are, exactly where we are, to release any sense of negative emotion we have previously directed towards ourselves, and to replace that with and transmute that into just a deep and abiding love and acceptance. Okay. Not that we choose to stay where we are, but we love and we completely love and accept ourselves exactly as we are. And then we bring that love and acceptance for exactly who we are, exactly how we are, exactly where we are, into the next state of our spiritual evolution, into the next state of our growth, into the next state of our maturity, into the next state of our prosperity, into the next, a level of intimacy or whatever area it is that you're wanting to go to the next level in. Okay. Okay. All right. And so now let's look at openness and receptivity to divine guidance coming in a way that we've not necessarily seen it before. Coming in a way that's transcendent, where we're open to a new level of growth and fulfillment. Once upon a time, I taught a Transcending the Matrix Level 2 class on mental and emotional healing, neurological upgrading, and brain optimization. There was a gentleman who was in that class who had what we would, in today's terms, call a hoopty in terms of his car. It was an old car that had some troubles with it. And he ended up doing TTM. After this level 2 class, he ended up doing TTM on the car, and it started working again. Go figure. But somehow from that, I ended up doing some healing in terms on myself, in terms of being able to see with an artist's eye and hear with a musician's ear. Okay. And an artist just sees things differently than people who are not artists see things. A musician hears things differently than someone who's not a musician hears things. Michael Jackson used to hear songs in his head, and then he would beatbox out the song so that people, could hear what was in his head and then musically recreate what it was that he heard inside. Okay. All right. And so I want to be able to strengthen us to be able to have new channels of intuition open to us, for us to be able to hear and see things with greater clarity and in new ways, and to find ourselves naturally moving in the direction where we're in a state of divine flow. Okay. And so we move to this next level in a state of divine flow, where things just almost magically come together for our good. And the book, The Alchemist, by the author Paulo Coelho, there was a statement at some point in the book that says, when you come to a point of deciding where it is that you're going to go, or making a healthy decision for yourself of essentially going to this next level, then the whole universe will conspire to help get you there. Okay. And so creating within our consciousness an openness to the reality that there are a variety of sources conspiring to our good, working in the invisible realms, working in the background to help bring things to come to pass that support our highest and best good and the highest and best good of everyone involved as we make our way to this next level. That it's not something that we have to, be stressed out about or anxious about, but that we can actually receive not only divine guidance, but divine support as we move from level to level. Okay. And we want to strengthen our trust of that, to be able to have a deep and abiding knowingness that it is so. Okay, I want to strengthen us for that some more. All right. All right. Now let's look at old, outdated patterns. We've all got patterns of thinking, patterns of behavior. Some of them served us well for a period. And some of those things have come to a point where they're no longer serving us. So for us to be able to transcend that pattern and create a more appropriate pattern for where it is that we are now and where it is that we're going. Okay. So to be able to establish healthy patterns that support destiny moves, that support the fulfillment of our destiny. By the way, destiny is not a guarantee. It's something that's laid out, but we don't necessarily have to choose to move in alignment with it. So let's take whatever our resistance to moving in alignment with our destiny is and transmute that into um, transmuting that into a a proclivity to have a vibrational match with that which is calling us forward into the new level of good, the new level of blessing, whatever that is. Okay. All right. It's looking better. Still needs some work though. All right. So what is it that would be standing in the way of that? Let's look at some ancestral baggage. Ancestral baggage. Dealing with baggage that those who came before us weren't able to release in their lifetime. And so now we've got, in a way, the result of their baggage. Not that they're dumping their baggage on us, just like passing on eye color or hair texture. We can receive some of that stuff from the past as a way of being the cycle breakers, if you will, of being the ones to create a new pattern, the ones to break the old cycle and to create a new cycle, to do things differently than they've been done before, to see things differently as they've been seen before. And as we, like A Course in Miracles says, when I'm healed, I'm not healed alone. So even in this moment, as we're being healed, so are our ancestors before us. And we make room for that in the spirit of love, in the spirit of unity. Okay. And to be able to have confidence that our ancestors are looking upon us with joy and a sense of satisfaction and gratitude. The things within our bloodline are being resolved, are being rectified, are being redeemed. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I don't think we're going to go a whole hour today, but we're going to keep doing a few more clearances at least anyway. So a few more corrections, that's the word I was looking for. All right, so another thing that's coming up that I want to look at is self-judgment. Self-judgment. We want to, delete the judgment that we've had towards ourselves and the judgment that we've had towards other people who are where it is that we want to be. Okay. A lot of us judge people that we think use their platforms differently than how we would choose to use ours. But us being judgmental of them still isn't helping us. Okay. And so look at anything within us that may have a subconscious judgmental attitude, anything within us where we might have a subconscious fear of being hypocritical ourselves. So I want to address that part of us that has that fear of us being hypocritical ourselves. Resolve that character flaw. I want to strengthen us to resolve that character flaw that would have us operating in a way that is inconsistent with the way of our highest and purest, most radiant self. Okay. And to align our personality with our truest self. I want to strengthen us to align our personality with our truest self. Now, the personality is, the root word of that is persona. Persona is a mask. Okay. So to align our mask with our truest self is another way of saying to operate in such a level of profound confidence that we no longer need to hide behind the mask, and we can identify with and be truly our highest, purest, most radiant selves, and to be able to do so without feeling the need to hide behind anything. So I'm going to strengthen us all for that. I'm going to strengthen us all to be able to walk in the world in a profound confidence, a confidence that doesn't hide as arrogance, pretending to be confident. Okay. So let's address that whole thing with arrogance. I'm going to transmute that arrogance from the point of the root cause into a confident humility. Wise man once said, if you know all the words in the dictionary, you can afford to use some small words sometimes. Right? It's okay to be humble. Because, and I'm not talking about a false humility. To be confident is to have a knowingness within yourself. To have a confident humility is to have a knowing within yourself based on the fact that there's something greater than you and your ego level of personality that is at work, and it is the divinity existing in you, which is also the divinity that exists within everyone else, that is making all of these wonderful things possible for you. That's a confident humility. Okay, because you realize it's not all about you. All right. Okay. All right, so let's now take a look at in terms of this next level, being able to see it with your mind's eye, being able to see it, expect it, imagine it, and turn that imagination into a reality. Okay. And to be infinitely good at this. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I think that pretty much does us for today. I'm just going to kind of go through and do some general things in terms of clearing levels of the matrix. Matrix grid lines, incidents, Akashic records, universes, dimensions, time, judgment, unknown, and transmute, purify, clear through the light of the Holy Spirit, now, henceforth, and forevermore, for all generations, time, past, present, and future. Absolute, complete, permanent healing, with infinite and immediate correct perception. And strengthen us to be able to forgive and forget unconditionally. I thank you for the healing that's gone forth today to help clear up things, to allow us the lightness and the grace to be able to move up, take a step up. Because the reality is that there's levels to this thing. Thank you for empowering us to be able to move on up to the next level. And I bear witness to, once again, to our wholeness. I affirm it is done, it is done, it is done. All right, beloved, it's been a pleasure being with you here today, this second Sunday in April 2026. We'll look forward to being with you next Sunday. And we would have been teaching a Transcending the Matrix class this weekend. We ended up postponing that. Tentatively, we're looking at the last weekend in in May. That will be the weekend after Memorial Day. I don't recall the dates off the top of my head. It may be like the 29th through the 31st or something. I'm not sure, but whatever the last weekend is in May, that's what we're temporarily looking at for the next Transcending the Matrix level 1 class / initiation. If you have any interest in that, feel free to reach out to me at Royce Fletcher Thomason on either Instagram or on Facebook. Send me a friend request before you do, if we're not already connected, because I'll be more likely to actually see the message if you send that. Alita, you're most welcome. Terry, you are most welcome. And everyone else, you're certainly most welcome. Again, it's been my pleasure to be here with you today. And as we continue to endeavor to enter into the sustainable state of supreme satisfaction, until we meet again, I bid you adieu. Peace and love. I'll catch you next time.